Hey, so in last video I told you the box pocket pull, which is simply this, which does internal rotation and elbow flexion. But in this video I will show you the continuation of that exercise family. Alright, this is the box exercise family of arm wrestling training. So in arm wrestling there is two types of pull motions, one of which doesn't have that much drag, like this. For example, if you do the cable machine from the low cable, you don't have that much latch into it when you do it like this. But then if you put it on so that the cable comes from above, then now it's lifting your elbow off the table. So you need a lot more lat to keep the elbow down, and also a little bit chest and stuff like that. This has also chest, but anyways, there are a little bit different movement patterns to pull down than to pull up. All right, and this exercise was the pulling up, and this, with how I show now in the family of box exercises for arm wrestling, this is the pulling down. So in the last video, one variation was to use a pot. So in this, we hang the pot like this, and we do pull-ups from the pot. All right? You grip the pot and you do pull-ups. Or just hold it for time. You might now be thinking that that's actually impossible. And you might be right. I have never seen anybody be able to do a pull-up from a surface which is upright, like this. Okay? So, couple of things how you can make this easier. First is this. Alright? I have this kind of thing. You can see there is a load, there is a little block, and then if I go here, this weight there is reduced from my mass. So now I am able to do pull-ups from the pot. Alright? So this is one way of making this easier. Or you could just take holds from the pot. You know, hold it for time. This reduces your mass. As you can see, I can bounce guys quite easily. But I still have mass. Like with this setup, my mass is 15 kilograms. Alright? So this is kind of do-it-yourself pull-up machine. You can make you pull up easier with this. Alright? So that's the first one. And then the second one is second method how you make this easier is, if you remember that cone shape thing, you again choose an object which has a cone shape. Alright? Like, okay, so for example, let's go back to the box thing. And you can use the box itself to create the cone shape. Alright? And what I mean is you attach this box like from this thing. Let me do it. Okay, there, good enough. And now you can do your pull-ups like this. You are taking this. So now there is a huge cone shape, and you could do your pull-ups like this. But this still requires internal rotation that you still push these together, the arch. Obviously, deeper this is, harder it is. And if you can do then it like this, then you might have the strongest side pressure in the world. All right. But then one more thing on things how to make this easier. Like you can use just some kind of gloves which has a rubber coating, so that will then stick to it even better. All right. If you have some kind of surface, it make it easier, and also it applies here too. These same methods apply here too. That you can increase the friction in this if you want to make this easier for the side pressure, and therefore you can put more load and then it taxes the elbow flexion more. You can increase the friction, put rubber gloves on, or you can make here the cone shape, which helps you. All right, the same methods here apply also to this. So the box pull-up, pocket pull, either from the pot, or you can also hang the box from somewhere and hang it from that. And because again the same principle as here, you are hanging here. If you cannot, internal rotation cannot hold, you're just gonna slip from the box, so this is kind of the other side of the pulling, meaning you have pulling in which the elbow is tried to be pulled down. Like in this, when you do this, the elbow is not, you are bringing elbows forward. That's the effort. But when you are in the table and you are finishing, winning, the elbow is lift up. So this is for that. All right. Another box exercise. Okay, I might show you the setup here if you are interested. So this is like this, there is just a metal block, and let me show you that it does work. Like now there is a scale, and if I go on that thing, what is my weight then? I weigh 15 kilograms now, because this weight is in the air. All right. So pretty simple system. You can also use this in pull-ups if you cannot do one pull-up. All right. Okay. Note that you could also do this type of thing. If we go make this bigger. Note that if you look at the hands here, they have the same thing going on. But I explained you just, that there is a type of a cone shape. Obviously it's a round shape, but this tool now has internal rotation, as we have already learned from that calisthenics video, So note that this is internal rotation exercise, which is now in the box family of exercises. But there is another thing I want to show here, which is this. Like, not that when the coach Ray does these pull-ups, from these spinning handles, because the handles can spin, then, and it's hard for the fingers and wrist. He needs to help the fingers and wrist with the internal rotation. All right. So this activity is now the same thing I just showed to you. All right. meaning that this too has internal rotation all the time activated with the failed concentric isometric. All right. So again, this is impossible to go to the brake bar position. The internal rotation cannot get to the hyperextended position, and on top of other things, it has bicep activation usually because it's a pull-up. Your biceps are activated in pull-ups. All right. So note that this kind of belongs to this category of what we are now looking at, as well as this activity. But I just showed you the hardest level of this, which is to grab something which is totally upright surface. All right. So little challenge at the end of this video. If anybody is able to do a pull-up from an object which has totally upright surface, send me the link to that video. And I don't care what you have in your hands. You could have that thing with the strongman use, what they put on the rocks, the sticky thing. You can use that. You can use whatever friction increasing substance. But if you somehow are able to do a pull-up or even hold statically in the up position from something which has a totally upright surface, then I want to see the video. All right? Okay. Lastly, before you go and waste all your money to buy that ball and those spinning pull-up handlebars, let me show you that again. Your pot is already that thing. Here I have suspended the pot like this, just make it so that it stays upright. And you can grip it like this, like it doesn't have to be round, like circle. You just have to have this. And now you can hang from this in training like what I explained. Hold it for tight. Does the same thing as the ball and the coach tray handles. All right. You have to internal rotation. And obviously, easier this is, more the hands are above it, meaning you can put your fingers together initially at the top to make it easier. And then if you want to make it harder, you just until you here, you just grip it lower and lower until you are here. And then, it's basically a upright surface. So you can use your grandma's pot again to do this exercise. All right. And let's see what is my weight today. 117 kilos. So here is the exercise for you to with finishing. And it's safer than those whatever the side press exercises you have seen done with the pulley machines. Okay, that was all for